Over the past 5 months, I've worked to create my ultimate dream setup for under $1,000. And over this time, I learned a lot on how to create a setup that's both ergonomic and practical, but also looks great. My top 5 categories when developing this test setup were lighting, ergonomics, staging, and lastly, buying on the used market, which is kind of the last thing that I'll get at the end. So let's get into it and see all the things that I learned over the process, and maybe some of the things I even did wrong that maybe you can avoid if you're going to be building a desk setup like this. Lighting is one of the most commonly overlooked but most important features of a desk setup, and it can really help improve your productivity and how cozy your setup feels. So the first big point to keep in mind when building a setup is bias lighting. And to explain it in basic terms, I'm going to do a demo here to kind of showcase what it is and how it can help reduce eye strain. So for the purpose of this demonstration of bias lighting, I've turned off all of my lights. And this will allow me to turn them on slowly and show you what it means and the difference that it makes. So right now, if you were in a dark room with just the monitor on, you can see how it can be straining on your eyes because the monitor is so bright compared to its surroundings. So what bias lighting is that when I turn on the lights behind, Alexa, bedroom on. When I turn on the lights behind, this means that the wall now behind the monitor is illuminated, and that's what bias lighting is. This is a soft light that goes behind the monitor to help average the light in the room compared to what the monitor is emitting. This helps reduce eye strain, and some of the ways that I've done this is having equal lighting. One lamp on the right, one lamp on the left, and then the light bar or the light strip across the bottom of the desk. This helps the wall be evenly lit up from all the way to the bottom and all the way out along the top, and helps average the light for your eyes. Another great thing that I discovered when creating my desk setup was the great invention of the monitor light bar. These things are really awesome in helping decrease eye strain and further improve the average light in your room. And basically, they're just a monitor light bar that basically mounts on the top of a monitor and shoots light directly down at the desk and your workspace. These are specifically designed to illuminate just the desk space and your keyboard and mouse area, and have a very sharp cutoff so they don't shine on the monitor like as if you had a lamp going over your monitor. So with all these lights, how do you control them? I went the method of controlling my lights through a smart assistant device, and I use the Amazon Echo Dot. And this is really cool because it allows me to control the devices and set up routines for things that I want to do. So let's do a little bit of a demo here so you can get an idea of what it's like to run it on a system like this. So for my setup here, let's say that I want to watch a show and I want a more immersive, darker setup. So I can go, Alexa, watch time. And what this does is it lowers the brightness of the lights to 1% and the desk light strip down to 10%. And this just makes it more immersive. And it's just a cool one phrase thing, and you have a cool setup ready to watch a show. And then when you're done watching the show, Alexa, bedroom 100%. There you go, you can just turn them back on. And you can create tons of routines for different kinds of things that you do. I would highly recommend looking into controlling them. Maybe if you go the Google Assistant route, if you want a more useful assistant outside of home controls. But because I was wanting to just do home controls and the price was right, the Amazon Alexa stuff is really awesome. Ergonomics can go a long way in helping your setup feel more productive and also helping in decreasing lower back pain throughout longer sitting periods. Some of the things that I did that really helped out were mounting my SD card underneath the table, mounting my drink to the table to keep it from being knocked over onto equipment, and keeping my keyboard and mouse centered and my monitor at eye level to keep my elbows at a 90 degree. All these things help my setup feel more natural and helped me stay more straight and keep my posture right and kept me from slipping and slouching down. This is not entirely necessary for most people, but if you're a person that does a lot of sitting for multiple long periods of time, not just for an entire day, but long periods of time without even getting up at all, this could be a huge lifesaver. For me, I found that it's best that I sit for 1 hour stand for 10 minutes, go back to sitting for 1 hour, stand for 10 minutes. And this really helps you stay productive because instead of having to lay on the floor, get up, leave the room, do stuff like that, I found that being able to stand up and keep working helps your productivity keep going, and while also improving your getting some tension off of your back. And then when it's time after 10 minutes, just sit back down and you never stop working. Staging is one of those things that's kind of hard to associate with a setup, but it's one of those things that can also massively overhaul the look and symmetricality and just the overall appeal of the setup. So let's hop into a demo here and just see what staging means and how it can improve the looks of your setup. Down here I have some shelves that I created out of some wood I found in the clearance section of Ikea, and some wall mounts that are screwed into the back of the desk. This gives everything a place to sit, which helps you stay more organized as everything has a place to go to. It also makes the monitor have a place that feels purposeful right in the middle of the two shelves. But most importantly with staging is up above. As you can see, the images above, or wherever you put above your setup, they complement what's below. So the shelves are lower than the monitor, and the art arches in the same way that the shelves and monitor do. Another important aspect to staging is where you put your items. I knew that my cable basket was on the left side of the desk. So that means that most of my things that have the most wires are closest to it. If wires are ran too far of a distance, it starts to look messy. So keeping things all in a central location, or even mounting your cable management baskets closer to the items that they will be holding, this helps keep cables at a shorter run rather than running across the whole desk. Buying used is a huge help when trying to build a setup on a budget. So when I built this setup for under $1,000, it was quite challenging to find what I want for that price. And buying used helps a lot to help you get things that are a lot nicer than what your initial budget can provide. And basically when I was building this, I used eBay, and eBay is a great source, but it does take a lot of getting used to what to look out for and who's a trustworthy seller, authorized sellers, personal sellers like me, and sometimes it's a bit of a gamble, but in my opinion it's worth it. Like this monitor behind me, I was able to pick this monitor up for 300 bucks, brand new basically, came with everything brand new in the box, so I got it for less than half off. So these types of steals are possible, and they can really help you build a setup that's a lot nicer than what you can afford. It is risky, and I will admit that. And generally a rule of thumb for when I was shopping used was to kind of the 50% mark, 50% off. If it's more than 50% off, you kind of have to start to be a little more careful there. So this monitor was more than 50% off, but it was through an eBay authorized seller that was most likely getting their supply from businesses that were refreshing their items, and they just had a huge warehouse of leftover monitors. But that's why I felt comfortable paying $300, which was less than half what it's worth. But if you're buying from a personal seller like me, if you're buying from me, you have to be a lot more careful on things being too cheap and too good to be true. Because if this person doesn't have as much of a track record as an authorized seller on eBay, that's something to look out for. Such as my graphics card. I got my Asus TUF 3060. Those go for usually around 400 bucks new, 450, and I got mine for $250. But that was just me being lucky, and that was through just a personal seller like me. So you can find good deals that are like half off. I got my Tamron 70 to 180 millimeter f2.8 lens. It's a $1,200 lens, got it for 600 bucks. So it's possible to save a lot of money used and to build an awesome setup, but you have to be careful. If any of you would like to have a specialized video on just lighting, just ergonomics, just staging, or just buying used, let me know, because I think it'd be awesome to kind of make a series out of this, maybe share some things that I learned from each of these topics and do a deeper dive, because this was all kind of just a basic 10,000 foot overview of my setup. And there's a lot that I learned and a lot more to know, especially about lighting. So if you want to know more about that, just leave a comment below and show some interest, leave a like on the video, and that all will help out and let me know that maybe I should make some of those videos. So anyways, that's been it. I hope you found this video useful, and if you're going to be building a setup of your own, I hope that you took away some useful tips on especially staging and lighting on your own setup. And anyways, that's it. Thank you for watching.